Good morning to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What a glorious Sydney summer's morning we have today, and I'm coming to you from a unique location known as Dawes Point, where I'm actually underneath the southern pylon of the Harbour Bridge and just preparing to celebrate the start of yet another beautiful summer's day here in Sydney. I'll just go on a bit of a walk and talk, and as you can see, we've got a cannon up here at Dawes Point, one of the many cannons that would have adorned this location in days gone by, to protect the Australian citizens from attack, from invasion, from people from all over the world. What I'd like to do today is continue my tradition, the tradition of sharing and caring, of taking OPE, other people's experiences, and presenting it with my own point of view, as well as sharing the point of view of the authors, and using it as a discussion point so that we can start our day and see what we can glean, what we can learn, what we can use from the various sources and resources that are available to us across the internet and across many other sources. Because the objective in life is indeed to live your life, to gain your experiences, to build our worldview, but we need to do it in partnership with others. There's only so much that you can do on your own. There are only so many experiences we can enjoy on our own, and there comes a point where we need to depend on OPE, other people's experiences, so that we can collaborate, cooperate, and also add to our own inventory of skills, so we can complement and supplement what we know, what we've learnt, with what other people have learnt and been able to identify, so that we can broaden and deepen our perspective to make us more complete human beings. Anyway, we've got a ship coming in to dock in the harbour here, so we're going to be able to not only deliver a message of empowerment, but also to have a most beautiful backdrop of a big ocean liner, a cruise ship, coming in to dock up here in Sydney, whilst enjoying a most perfect sunrise here in Sydney. I invite you to continue to join me on my YouTube channel, and I promise you, I wholeheartedly promise you that if you stick with me on this channel, I can teach you more than anybody else in terms of personal development, and as I say, I have a one-stop shop in terms of Jim's 5am Club, where I have not only the volume but also the variety to be able to help people join the dots in their life by, as I mentioned before, taking other people's experiences and using those to compare and contrast to their own experiences. What a beautiful place here. Look at this chair, which looks at the Opera House, looks across the harbour, and as I mentioned before, we're going to enjoy this big ship coming closer and closer to us over the next 15 to 20 minutes. So the book that I've chosen to deliver today, one of the many, this one is going to be 1453, so I'm well on my way to reaching my 1500 vlogs in English. This book is entitled Faith by Jimmy Carter, who at the age of 94 became a Nobel Prize winner, and he was the President of the United States for a number of years, and was an avid Christian. He was a Baptist, and in his memoirs here, in his book, he talks about the importance of having faith and leveraging faith and using it to bring harmony to one's life, to bring purpose, to bring love, and to be the centerpiece, the springboard, the stepping stones that one uses to express themselves through their work and through all their activities. The other beautiful thing that I can see here is that whilst we can't directly see the sunrise, which is happening on the other side of the Opera House, I can see the sunrise reflecting on that cruise ship out there. And as I promised before, it's going to be a most magnificent sunrise this morning. So stick with me and let's get through yet another book summary. It just never ceases to amaze me how beautiful this city of Sydney is, and yet very, very few people get up early, very, very few people come down to enjoy this location, and it always promises to deliver something beautiful every single day, regardless of where you are located on this harbour. There is always something happening and something beautiful taking place. So let's kick off with this book summary and continue and see where it leads us. But as Jimmy Carter says in his book, all of us, every single person, needs a foundation on which we can build a predictable and dependable existence. Very wise words, because what we learn over life, over time, is we all need a level of predictability in our lives in order to live a purposeful and meaningful life. And one of the key messages from communication and being a team player or being a leader is to be able to help people, see and be predictable, and to share your view of the world with others so that they can compare and contrast what they're seeing to what you're seeing at any particular time, and be able to line up and compare their slithers of reality to the slithers of reality that you've been able to accumulate throughout your lifetime. Because at the end of the day, the reality is that we all live a very different life. We are all unique, we are all special, and we've all lived, without doubt, a different past. We're all going to live a different present. I am here, you are there, regardless of where you are, what you're doing, You're going to have a different perspective. You're going to have a different appreciation. You're going to experience a different reality to what I am experiencing right now. And we're all going to live a different, a most different future as well. But the important thing, according to Jimmy Carter, is that we all need a sense of predictability in our life, and we all need something to depend on, something to latch onto, in order to make our life, as I mentioned before, purposeful. Because we need these things to bring us to a balance, to be able to enjoy what's going on. So the first formal point that comes from this book is where Jimmy Carter says that faith can extend far beyond religion, and almost everyone holds a faith in something. You know, there are people who hold a faith in real estate. There are people who hold a faith in movie stars. There are people who hold a faith in motor vehicles, and the list goes on. Each and every person believes in something, but the question is whether or not the belief in what that something is it empowering them? Is it leading them to a predictable and dependable existence? Or is it taking them down a path that's going to cause them grief over time? So the other beautiful thing is that democracy allows people to hold their faith and to practice their faith, and democratic countries have their values upheld by their constitutions. We have faith in human rights protection across the globe. So it's important to not only have a faith, but to be able to practice it without feeling that you're, or being bullied or being caused grief. So I guess the other point that I want to make, in addition to what Jimmy Carter's saying here in his book, is that with time, what we're finding is that a cancel culture is developing throughout the world, and it's harder to practice one's faith for fear of being cancelled. I know that in my own life, it is much harder for me to be able to talk to people about my Christian faith without feeling as if I'm, building up for a blue, or building up for something that's a little bit difficult to manage. But on the matter of faith, and I remember reading somewhere as well that faith and belief are two different things. Beliefs can be shaped by what other people say and do, what we inherit, whereas faith is something which is intrinsic and intangible, and it's something that you either have or you haven't. So it's a key point to make that we need to have faith, and we need to, have a faith that, once again, supports our values, makes life more predictable, and leads us to a dependable existence. And we all start life being faithful. We all start life having faith that our mothers will care and protect us. And from that point, our faith grows to the faith that our father, siblings, friends, teachers will look after us and protect us and nurture us. And with religion, we are encouraged to constantly search for higher faith, for deeper faith, for greater meaning in our lives. The next point that Jimmy Carter makes in his book here is where he talks about doubt and the fact that we all have doubts, regardless of how much belief and how religious one is and how much faith one has. Our faith is constantly being challenged, and we do have a number of doubts that creep into our days, into our lives, into our thinking patterns on a regular basis. But he says that doubt can be seen as an opportunity rather than a threat to our faith. Now, we all have our doubts, and in many ways our fears show our lack of faith. So when people are fearful, I guess it's an indicator that they don't have very much faith. So it's a call to action, I guess, to become more faithful and to use your faith to conquer one's fears. So once again, we need to understand, we need to appreciate that everyone has their moments of doubt, and the sort of doubts that we have all the time. You know, do my friends like me? Am I worthy of being loved by anyone? Do they just want me for my money? And you name it, you know, regardless of what age you are, each age, each phase, each transaction that you share with others will have its levels of doubt and fears. But we need to, I guess, push through those levels of doubt and fears and to spend a little bit more time being people of faith, to be able to live a more practical life, I guess is what Jimmy Carter is saying here. But it's in these moments of doubt that we reflect and embrace the uncertainty of life. So we need to embrace it rather than waiting or wanting to receive it. What we need to do is to express it to others. So when you start having your doubts, what you need to do, according to Jimmy Carter, is to turn those doubts on their heads, and rather than expecting things from others and wondering what others think of you, to turn it around and to express it to others so that you become the source of love, you become the source of belief, you become the source of faith, so that you can generate that ripple effect that we talk about so often. Because at the end of the day, it's what we do to others that has a greater impact on the world rather than what others do to us. So be the source of love is the key message from Jimmy Carter, and to try and eliminate fears and try and generate predictability and dependability. Be a predictable person. Be a person that other people can depend on is the key message, and know that everybody has uncertainty, and life is an uncomfortable place for most people. But our job, our objective, is to try and bring comfort to people wherever we can. So I guess the next point that Jimmy Carter's saying here is that for some people, religion, such as Christianity, gives profound meaning and operating guidelines in terms of how to live one's life and how to behave to others and how to interpret what is going on around us. It offers me, in my life, a sense of stability. It's a constant which allows me to benchmark my activities, my days, and the things that I do. Because at the end of the day, for a Christian, the objective of their life is to do two things, two simple things: to serve and glorify God with all their heart, mind and soul, and also to love one another, to serve their neighbours, and to love their neighbours as they love themselves. So it's really simple. So it's got nothing to do with yourself. It's got nothing to do with, accumulating assets and building an empire around you. It's more about what you do with those gifts from God to help others and to glorify God. It's a very simple message that many people get, but many people also don't get. So it's all about a journey of self-discovery, according to Jimmy Carter here, and a death can lead us on a wonderful journey of self-discovery. And it's all about asking the right questions, being productive with the questions that you ask. And as the scriptures mention to us and guide us, saying that ask and you shall receive, seek and you shall find, knock and it shall open to you. And the last point that Jimmy makes in this book is where he talks to us about the fact that we live in a world of science and we live in a world of religion as well. And if you look closely, according to Jimmy Carter, and I agree with this, science and religion are two complementary ways of exploring the world around us. Jimmy Carter, in fact, was a scientist. He was a president and he was a deeply religious person. You can have science and faith and religion, and they can coexist side by side. They can support each other if you ask the right questions, if you view it with an open mind and a loving heart. And they are used, both science and religion are used to describe different areas of the human existence. Science captures, according to Jimmy Carter, the things that can be grasped and known, the things that can be seen. So science has a place in the world, and as Jimmy Carter says here, science can capture the things that can be grasped and seen and understood. And religion acknowledges the things that are indescribable, the things that we can't really get our head around, the things that are beyond our comprehension. I remember listening to a speech done by Archbishop Stylianos when he was alive, and he said that the word mystery, mysterion, is a Greek word, and it's made up of two individual words: mio, meaning the eye, and stereo, meaning to look at a narrow passage. And mysterio, or mystery, is basically something that you have to see through half-opened eyes. So if you close your eyes and then just slightly open them, what the Archbishop was saying is that you can see glimpses, you can see pieces of the puzzle. The problem is you can't see the whole puzzle at the same time, and that's why it's a mystery. That's why we get glimpses of God's energy, we get glimpses of God's glory, but we can't see it all at the same time. But we can piece together, is the key message. You can piece it together if you're looking for it, and if you're observant, and if you're looking for the right patterns in life. You can indeed experience the glory of God within your allotted lifetime. So there you go, another wonderful book to add to the library, to the massive library that I've been able to accumulate in Jim's 5am Club, my YouTube channel, which I started 2.5 years ago during COVID, not expecting much, but I remember one day just sitting in my vehicle heading to work on one of those COVID days and just putting my phone on the dash and just recording an experience that I had earlier in my life, just passing my time, just having some fun. And from that day I then said to myself, wouldn't it be nice to accumulate a library of personal development material for my family, my children, my grandchildren, for it to be my legacy to pass on when one day I pass away and I'm no longer here. And I set myself a goal of doing 1,000 in 3 years. It was a bold and ambitious goal. Never in my mind did I logically think that it was possible. But one after the other, with the power of compounding, I've been able to add one a day. And at some point in time I was doing up to 10 a day, and it's something that I really enjoy, I really love, and hopefully it's something that other people can gain from as well. So it's Tuesday today, another glorious summer's day. I'll just turn around now and show you the magnificent sunrise happening down here in Sydney town, and I'm just under the Harbour Bridge, and I'll just show you that magnificent sunrise just happening next to the Sydney Opera House. It was blocked out before with that beautiful massive cruise ship, but only now that the cruise ship has passed we can see that beautiful sunrise. What a glorious way to start the day. And yet, as I mentioned before, there's hardly anybody here to see it, anybody here to acknowledge it, hardly anybody here to enjoy it and experience it. How sad is that? So if you get a moment, one day, get up early, come down here to Sydney Harbour and enjoy this moment of grandeur. Anyway, take care, wishing you all the best, and until next time, I look forward to coming to you from a different place with a different message of empowerment, where we take OPE, other people's experiences, in the form of book summaries, in the form of life experiences, and share it on this platform known as Jim's 5am Club, where hopefully we can take 1, 2 or 3 lessons, morsels, gems from other people and use it, Kalimera, and use it to improve our lives and to live, learn and pass it on. Take care, wishing you all the very best, and until next time, Yassas and bye for now.